Hello there folks, my name is Spooks and happy Halloween ladies and gentlemen. I, like many, choose to celebrate the month by watching as many movies throughout the month of October, whether they're Hotel Transylvania, Zombieland, or Scream. There's plenty of movies to get you into the spooky spirit of the holiday. But there is one movie that I feel has flown under the radar. One movie so obscure and unknown, it rattles people to their core. And that movie is Fun Size. This was a film from Nickelodeon starring Victoria Justice about her losing her brother on Halloween night and her trying to find him before their mom comes home after a big Halloween party. Sounds like typical Nickelodeon fanfare, probably with some family morals and the typical crude Nickelodeon jokes. But there's one thing that separates this movie from the rest of the pack. It's PG-13. Yes, this film with the Nickelodeon name attached to it is filled with language, partying, and stranger danger jokes. And naturally, this caused a lot of confusion back in 2012. Myself included, because back in the day, they promoted the hell out of this movie on the network. There were commercials for this all over the place. So come to my surprise when I watch the trailer and I hear,
"Trick or treat, bitch!"
Well, at least I got 3 other options that year. The reason for this movie going for a more mature direction is because Paramount wanted to expand the Nickelodeon brand to a more diverse, mature audience, which, hey, I guess it worked with Disney with Pirates of the Caribbean, so it might work for Nickelodeon. But the thing is, with those movies, they dealt with darker themes and large-scale action sequences, so they had to go for an older audience with those movies. This could have easily been a typical Nickelodeon family film. The premise doesn't really scream anything raunchy or vulgar or anything like that. Or in the more likely scenario, it felt like the filmmakers wanted to do a really raunchy teen comedy aiming for an R rating, but once Victoria Justice signed on to do the project, Nickelodeon went, whoa, hey now, she's our girl. Wherever she goes, we go. So they had to tone it down to a PG-13. In fact, actually, that's kind of what happened. The writer of the film has admitted that the original version of the script was much more R-rated and raunchier, but the studio wanted it to tone it down to be a PG-13. And boy, do you feel that with this movie, because the biggest problem with it is it's facing an identity crisis. Because it's PG-13, it can't be too childish for the adults and too raunchy for the children who want to see the movie as well. So it has to try to find this middle ground to make it suitable for everybody. And unfortunately, it doesn't really do that, especially in the first half of the movie where the raunchiness and the childish humor just doesn't blend well. There'd be like typical Nickelodeon, like gross out gags and slapstick, and then it throws a curveball at you like this.
Hey, this is 100% legal, but very creepy.
Now, the film does find its footing in the second act, as we do get the plot moving and finding the brother and seeing all the wacky hijinks they get into, but even then, still, the humor is still kind of hit and miss and all over the place. The movie can be very funny, even when it's really raunchy, but then again, there's still like a couple of other jokes that I think go over the line, if you know what I mean. As for the more family-friendly side of things, again, the first half, the childish humor just falls flat entirely. Again, typical Nickelodeon gross-out slapstick gags, and they don't really do a good job of establishing the relationship between the sister and the brother and the family, and how the family is dealing with the loss of their father that much. It's mostly focused on trying to be raunchy and selling all the obscure jokes here. But the second act actually picks up a bit in the sentimentality, as there's a lot of good emotional moments between the family members. The mom has a subplot that starts off pointless and you question why it's even in the movie, but it leads to a really good scene in the middle involving her, and I thought that was really well handled, and the emotional resolution between all 3 of them was actually really well done. It felt actually mature and emotional and sweet and touching. I was surprised that the movie was able to handle the resolution like this so effectively. It would have been better if they done the things I said they should have done better in the first half, but still, I appreciated what the filmmakers were able to achieve with the emotional moments in the second act. The characters aren't really much to write about. The two lead girls are the unpopular girls who want to get into the big party, and you got obviously the nerdy boys who aren't really seen as cool but tag along for the ride. Thomas Mann and Victoria Justice are very solid. They have really solid chemistry and they play their roles very well. Their characters aren't written the best, but you know, they play their roles effectively and carry the movie on their shoulders a lot. The two friends that they have are played well by their actors, but I found them to be really unlikable or unnecessary. The girl one just seems really selfish and unlikable, and I get that was the point of the character, and Jane Levy did do a good job playing her, but I felt that, again, the way she was written, just too unlikable, too selfish, and not in a charming way. And the other friend was kind of pointless. He didn't really seem to do much to contribute to the story outside of a really funny scene involving a musket. The brother in the movie, on the other hand, definitely steals the show, and he's actually the strongest actor, as he does not talk throughout the whole movie, well, mostly the whole movie, but he does a really solid job here. He plays the role very well and sells the comedic bits very well. In fact, he was so good that he impressed Johnny Knoxville so much that it got him the role in Bad Grandpa. There's also this character played by Thomas Middleditch, who's pretty much the amalgamation of the film's strengths and weaknesses. He can be pretty funny at times, and the actor does play him very well, but the decisions and choices he makes throughout the movie may raise some eyebrows and make people go, what is this guy's deal? So overall, I'd say Fun Size is a pretty mixed bag. I didn't hate it, but I also didn't really love the film either. It has its strengths. I think the second half makes up for the weak first act. There's a couple of funny moments and some solid performances here and there, and there's definitely a solid emotional core here, but the film has a major identity crisis, and with a weak first half and a lot of hit or miss jokes. I would say if you are down to see something a bit more raunchier from Nickelodeon, I'd say at least give it a shot. Again, let me just say the first half of the movie does not leave a very strong first impression, but if you're willing to give it a shot, you'll probably be pleasantly surprised with what you get after that, because the movie does have some strengths here. I can actually see why the film didn't really work for so many people back when it came out. Critics hated it, and it was a big old flop at the box office. It was too raunchy for the kids who watch Nickelodeon and too childish for adults who didn't watch Nickelodeon. So maybe had they just gone full family friendly Nickelodeon Halloween movie, it would have been much more successful. Or maybe even had they done what the original script wanted it to be and gone full rated R comedy, it probably would have been so successful. By trying to have it both ways, it just didn't pan out well. So though, I would recommend it if people are curious to check it out, especially during this time of the year, as I think it's definitely one of the most fascinating and interesting parts of Nickelodeon's legacy. And those are my thoughts on Fun Size. What did you all think of it if you're one of the few people who actually have seen it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Comment down below and let me know. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you like this channel, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on all the social media links right there. And until next time, everyone, stay sharp.